I've always been a huge advocate and somebody that has preached about building wealth through real estate. And I have gone through my fair share of experiences and have acquired investment properties over the last couple of years. However, with that being said, I'm doing something that I didn't think I would be doing ever because I've always had the philosophy of keeping what I touch. But there are some things that have happened over the last couple of years. Property caught fire being the biggest one, and the insurance spiked up drastically, and unfortunately put my mortgage payment in a position to where it doesn't make sense to keep it because I can't really rent it to a long-term single family because I'll have to pay like $400 to $500 every month out of pocket just to keep it. And I'm not in that position in my life right now. What I'm going to be doing in this video is just kind of taking you guys behind the scenes on what things look like when it comes to how I'm going to position my house to sell on the market to be able to get the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time possible. Obviously, we all know that things are a little bit challenging in this market with the rates being really high, buyers having to pay at a premium. I want to be realistic and also be able to give somebody a good opportunity to begin to move into a home that they will be able to take care of and create memories. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at what I could list it for, what's sold in the area, and how many price reductions are happening with homes that are around where my house is at. So that way you guys have an idea of how I am looking at positioning and helping sellers get their houses sold in today's market, but also giving you a blueprint to what I'm doing to hopefully get it sold sooner rather than later. One of the first things that I want to look at when it comes to listing a house on the market, given how volatile things have been with the interest rates, is look to see what the current rate is for today's market. And the reason being is because it gives me an idea of where buyer demand and activity could be. Today's rates are currently at a 6.77. I'm about a month away from putting it on the market, so I'm not really too concerned about that, but definitely something to keep an eye on. The second thing that I want to look at is, obviously we know that homes are not selling typically at asking price, and if you want your house to get sold fast, you got to make sure that you list it right. You could do all the marketing in the world, you could have all the best technology to get it positioned to get as many eyes as possible on it, but if it's not priced right, you're going to hurt yourself because the longer it sits on the market, the more money you end up losing. So this chart right here shows me what the average, median, and high, low statistics have been for homes that have sold within a mile radius. So my house is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. As you can see, the high here is a 4-bed, 3-bath, but the square footage is substantially higher. So that I can't really use that. But what I can use is seeing how the price change in these areas. So I'm at a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. This is 1,325 square feet. I'm around 1,800 square feet. The original list price was around $400,000, and then they ended up selling for $381,000. So it's a $20,000 price reduction. So this lets me know that if I want to get my house sold quick, I have to look to see what's going on in the area as far as what's currently active, and that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to see here what's currently active. We got this house here that is listed at $449,000. This is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,860 square feet. Very similar to my property. And then we have this one's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,850 square feet. This one has a garage. But as we could see here, this house isn't bad looking. Looks like they've taken care of it. But there's some quirky things about this property. It doesn't look like it's an ideal functional layout. But more importantly, this house has been on the market for 55 days and they haven't done any price reductions or anything. Let's go to this one here. This is at $450,000. We have the garage. Again, this house does not look like it's in bad shape. I'm not sure what's going on there. So you can see it doesn't look bad, but again, maybe a quirky layout, not really functional for today's family. This house has been on the market for 153 days. They've had it on the market since February. They started at $520,000. Whoo, they shot high. And then now they're at $450,000. Now this house probably could have sold quicker if they would have listed immediately at $450,000. But seller was probably greedy, thought that they could test the market, which is not a good idea. and now they're paying a price by having a cloud over it. And then we have this one here that's at 456. This one here, they recently did a price reduction. This looks like a complete remodel. It's been on the market for 35 days. So they started at 489 and they dropped it to 456. So this owner has an idea of what's going on. Looks like it's actually an investor. And now we want to look at what's closed, because what's closed ultimately is what's going to show me what the values are in the area. Anything past here, it's not going to be a valuable comp because it's in a different neighborhood. But this one here was at 475. Good look. So this house looks like it needs a little bit of love, some TLC. Looks like it has good bones, but just needs a cleanup. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,251 square feet, so it's like 400 square feet bigger than mine. Was on the market for 21 days, and they listed it at $499. So this is kind of in alignment with the stats that I showed earlier, where it's like a $20,000 difference from what it's listing at and what they're selling for. So the data that I can see for now, this is my competition, 449 and 450. I think that a good price for me to start at would be at 429, because that's an automatic $20,000 difference, and it's comparable to these homes. I honestly think it's a more functional layout that meets today's standards for what a family's looking for. But we'll see. I'm excited to put myself in a position of a seller in today's market and show you guys the behind the scenes of what I'm doing. So stay along for the next one.